All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Ugh. Whew. Let's get this midday catch up underway. Can't catch a break with everything that is going on, going wrong, and just, uh. So let's get things started. Coming from the Atlanta Black Star. Okay. We are the police. Armed citizen patrols vetting drivers sparked tension in Ohio town 2 weeks after white supremacists seized highway overpass with racist flags. You mean 2 weeks after some Nazis got their ass beat? hmm Once again, Euro Americans, white people, pay attention. This is how you handle white supremacy when you say that you are deconstructing, when you say that you are anti racist. You do not simply pull out a phone and record and gasp and clutch your pearls. You whoop some ass and you make sure moving forward that said community is safe. That is what you do. That is what you do. A group of armed citizens has begun patrolling a historically black Ohio community after a neo Nazi rally in early February that left many residents on edge. Did it leave the residents on edge, or were y'all reminded that you shouldn't go to Cincinnati and pull some bullshit? Now, I know the history of Cincinnati very well. I also know some hidden history regarding Cincinnati. A lot of people are like, Cincinnati ain't the place for black folks. Cincinnati has a richer black history than you think. Is there racism? There's racism in every nook and corner of this godforsaken stolen land drenched in blood. What do you want? But one thing for certain, two things for sure, black folk are going to take care of black folk. I don't know why. I don't know who was in charge of the Nazis' recon that they decided going to an overpass in Lincoln Heights was a good idea. Just when they were driving to get to the overpass, did they look to the right, look to the left, and see it wasn't nothing but black faces? Like, what in the 1762 did you think was going on? Did you really think black folks were going to be afraid of you? You have really convinced yourself that you are superior and black folks are afraid of you. No, we've always known that you fear us and that you need us. That's why you get your ass beat. With tensions running hot, some see the self-appointed militia as necessary defenders, while others say the patrols are a clear sign of darker days to come. What darker days? Y'all kill me with this. What if? And imagine if this, everything that you're imagining, the days have already been dark. These things have already been happening. And y'all don't complain about militia when the militia is the complexion for protection. About 2 weeks ago, a group of neo-Nazis stepped out of a U-Haul truck near Interstate 75 by Lincoln Heights, shouting racial slurs and displaying swastika-emblazoned flags from an overpass. Residents confronted them. Residents whooped their ass. Let's be honest. Residents whooped their ass when they confronted them, turning the encounter into a tense standoff as police and deputies rushed in, according to body camera footage from the Evendale Police Department. The police rushed in trying to save the neo-Nazis from getting their ass beat even more. Once again, this is how you handle Nazis. Not sitting there going, let me get footage for social media. This will be great. Y'all get so many shares and so much engagement off of this. And they'll really know that I'm an ally. You're a full of shit eye. You're a full of shit eye. I'm going to need y'all to stop trying to find a way to criticize people, marginalize people who take it upon themselves to once again defend themselves. Nazis showed up. Stop saying neo, no, the new Nazis. The Nazis showed up, got their asses handed to them the way they always should. Nobody was there to protect these black people. These black people told you on camera in 4K, This is sacred soil. You will not disrespect it. Black men said, you know what? Women and children and non-binary individuals that we care about live here. We want them to be able to lay their head down and they be comfortable because we know historically nobody else is going to do it. So they said, you know what? We are going to exercise our Second Amendment. We will indubitably have a well-trained, well-armed, ready-to-go militia, and they are patrolling their own streets, keeping themselves safe. And you have the audacity, the Anglo audacity in big box quantities to try to criticize. Maybe it's a sign of darker days. Y'all didn't say that. When month after month after month after month in all of these different cities, Nazis were popping up, and the only thing white folks was doing was sitting behind windows recording, saying not a damn thing. And my thing is, Jewish community, the ethno-religion that you are, the conglomeration of all complexions. Why are you quiet behind this? Why aren't you saying, you know what? Absolutely. Let us join in. Let us put together our own patrol. Stop, girlie. Why not? You were so boisterous in regards to don't vote for Kamala. I thought you were under attack. I thought we all needed protection. No, Miss Mamas. Now go lay down. You're doing too much. So now what? You're never going to beat the allegations that the vast majority of y'all are just racist and that you don't recognize Jewish people that are not white at all. And side note, I'm going to need all of y'all to understand biology, anatomy, and physiology. Because I'm tired of y'all going back to the year 1623. Go, well, you know, the blah, blah, insert community here. They're not white. They're blah, blah, blah. They were enveloped into the umbrella of whiteness and they bred the melanin out of themselves. So those of you all that exist today, you're white. Also, I don't hate to be the one to break it to you. If your parent is biracial, the product of whoever else and a black person, and your parent made it with a white person, you are sorry. But according to science, you're not black. The one drop rule is a handy dandy great thing. But if you're going to say that race is built off of phenotype, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Stop telling people who are white that they are black because somewhere down the line they had a black. No. Because y'all get real particular when somebody pulls up 14 generations ago. There was one relative that was indigenous. And before y'all get your panties and your boxers and a buckle in your undercarriage, this is why I specified that, yes, I have relatives that happen to be indigenous, that happen to be native, and I am not. I make that distinction because you can have relatives that you share no DNA with. I'm not going to sit here and stretch out the one drop rule, which a lot of y'all do. And white folks, quit trying to lie yourself out of whiteness. Stop lying to these kids because you done found a great non-Euro-American man or woman to take the place of the person that you ran off. And you got these kids thinking that they biracial, not knowing that that's their stepdaddy. Let's continue. Coming from CNN, Supreme Court declines chance to overturn precedent limiting protest outside abortion clinics. Why can't somebody put forth a case that will actually help people and educate people? Maybe start suing politicians and clergy that are lying and medical professionals that are lying about what an abortion is. Maybe ask for that to be illegal. Maybe make it illegal to lie about medical procedures. You don't have to get the medical procedure if you don't want to or if you don't have to, but don't lie about it. Maybe make that illegal. Maybe have that added into HIPAA. Maybe. The Supreme Court opted against hearing arguments in a pair of appeals Monday seeking to wipe out protest buffer zones around abortion clinics, a move that, for now, will leave those restrictions in place. Two conservative justices, Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, said they would have heard the cases. I'm gonna need everyone collectively to agree to stop putting certain labels on people. People like Alito and Thomas are not conservatives. They're controlist. Call it what it is. Call people what they are. Stop labeling everybody as a conservative because a lot of people aren't conservatives because they don't live conservative lifestyles. If you look at how they live, who they're friends with, what they do for fun, what their career fields are, they're not conservatives. They're controlist. They want to have control over other people, but they don't want control being taken over them. They are the epitome of do as I say and not as I do. And that is what these two are. Now, Clarence Thomas, I understand why he's trying to be a controlist. This man is a modern day slave. This is why he tries to bully everybody else. He is being abused top to bottom. He cannot make a move without somebody telling him what move to make, how many moves he can make it with, and how many breaths he can take as he's making it. The precedent at issue, Thomas wrote in a brief opinion, has been seriously undermined, if not completely eroded, and our refusal to provide clarity is an abdication of our judicial duty. Clarence, what the fuck have you worried about a judicial duty? You tried to worry about judicial booty, and there's a double entendre there. If you know, you know. Protected zones around clinics have been a legal issue for decades. Why? Controllists always want to be disrespectful and be all up in somebody's space, but don't want anybody in their space. The hypocrisy is astounding. These are the same people that want to interfere with your medical care and will disrespect you and or your loved ones at funerals. But hint that you know what city they live in. Dear God. They have to hide their identity because people will try to contact your employer and the same shit that they do. But the fight was reanimated by the 2022 decision overturning Roe v. Wade. Most significantly, the conservative majority signaled in that opinion that it has deep reservations with the 24-year-old precedent allowing cities to create the protest-free areas. Why do y'all need to protest medical procedures? Y'all were not protesting lobotomies. You were not protesting women being institutionalized because you didn't understand postpartum depression. You didn't understand the different levels and ailments that can attach themselves to a menstrual cycle. You acted as if the only emotion, and you still to some point, that women are allowed to have is jubilance. You didn't protest Black people being allowed to be used as petri dishes for syphilis. You didn't protest when a Black woman's cells were stolen and her life wasn't saved through the research that they stole her cells for. You didn't protest when Black and brown children in the 80s and 90s were unwittingly, unknowingly used to test unsanctioned vaccines on. You didn't protest when chainsaws were being used to open up the birth canal with no anesthesia on Black women. You didn't protest, and you're still not protesting the fact that doctors and nurses are still being taught to look for differing symptoms and treat people differently because of different pain levels and different practices culturally that have nothing to do with care anatomically. And the kicker is, as you're doing all this protesting and you want the ability to get up in people's faces, to sway them out of putting themselves or another person in a horrendous situation. If these parents are not equipped financially, emotionally, mentally to care for the children, you're not going to step in to help. You're going to criticize and condemn. And those of you all that look at pregnant individuals who may not be able to sustain the pregnancy, you don't care if they die. You don't care if their children are taken away because you're looking to take the child from them anyway, like the child is the latest boutique puppy on the market that's trending. But the vast majority of you all that are out there protesting are also protesting against free lunches, free breakfast, SNAP benefits, universal health care, proper educational systems. And you can't even say, oh, well, Taz, they just want an increased workforce. No, the fuck they don't. Because if you wanted a good workforce, you would make sure people were happy and healthy, mentally, emotionally, physically, etc., so that they would be able to not just be good consumers, but also be good stewards that create the goods and services to be consumed. But you don't. You don't care that mental health is getting so dilapidated that we're losing small civilizations, essentially, numbers wise, to suicide damn near daily. So are you getting why I call them controllists now? A second appeal came from a sidewalk counselor in New Jersey, Gerald Turco, who challenged Inglewood's 8-foot ban. Lower courts tossed out both appeals based on a 2000 decision from the Supreme Court that upheld a similar buffer law in Colorado, but the counselors believed the time was right to revisit that precedent following the ruling 2 years ago in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, which overturned Roe. And let us not forget that y'all want to be up close and personal, but there is a woman, a self-proclaimed Black evangelical, and I cannot stand people who actually have a church home but still call themselves an evangelical. I'm not giving y'all no more definitions. Y'all can go get a dictionary and look it up online. I don't give a shit. Who assaulted a clinic's employee and is going off to prison. Tried to play victim and everything. But this is what you're doing. You're literally physically harming people. And also you say, well, people should make better decisions. You shouldn't use abortion as birth control. No fucking body is using abortion as birth control. But here's the thing. These clinics provide education, healthcare, all of these things. And you are a deterrent from people going and asking the proper questions that they should, getting proper checkups to make sure things go well, to make sure people can have proper family planning and make sure it works for them. You want to push everybody into marriage and having kids when everybody isn't built for that. Everybody isn't made for that. But then you want to clutch your pearls and be condemning when motherfuckers kill their whole family. When more R. Kellys and Epsteins pop up. But you keep telling people that's their God-given place. Who's God? Who said that? A lot of y'all go, well, it's always been my dream to have children. Was it? Or do you feel obligated to give birth? Because most of y'all don't parent. Most of y'all aren't parents. You're cocoons. And once they leave the cocoon, you have no attachment to them. You do nothing. A lot of y'all don't like to admit that you were kicked out at 18 or you can't wait to kick your kids out at 18, as if magically they have all the finances, all the intelligence, all the knowledge to be able to step out on their own. And then you want to criticize people for not doing it. You literally bring people onto this third rock, this space rock, to put them into turmoil and suffering. Like, do y'all get that? But yeah, let's let everybody get all up in everybody's face as they're trying to go to a damn clinic. Everybody's so stuck on fucking Planned Parenthood, but you're not considering those aren't the only places that abortions happen. Those aren't the only places that birth control options are provided. Like, y'all have no idea what people learn when they go to school. You have no idea the skill sets that all of the... But okay, I mean, y'all about to make a whole bunch of people real rich through some back alley shit. Now, coming from the Hill, Musk, federal workers who gave good responses to new policy deserve promotion consideration. This is your efficiency expert, someone who decided, instead of learning the scope of these agencies before trying to create a skeleton crew, is basing now, because of what he's previously plugged into AI, I'm going to have people take time away from their job to tell me what they've done and convince me that they're an integral part. Although these agencies have been around for years, and with the bare minimum already, they're working and being as effective as they can. They really need increased staff. Just for him to take these responses to plug into his AI. Are y'all catching what's going down? Tech billionaire, tech serial litigator, and crybaby, Elon Musk said he's encouraged by the good responses he's received so far to an email asking federal employees to detail their recent work efforts and suggested the employees who sent them be considered for promotion. If this doesn't scream, this man is not looking at anything, and it's legitimately going into AI, and the AI is very faulty and not properly programmed, I don't know what will tell you. And before you go, Taz, I don't understand what you mean. Y'all do realize the vast majority of these emails that he's received, that he's touting, came from the general public, and they were intentionally bullshit emails. I'm gonna let that sink in with y'all for a minute. Think that over. Mull that over. And if you're basing giving someone a promotion off of an email where the requirement was Tell me 5 crucial things that you did last week at work. A large number of good responses have been received already. These are the people who should be considered for promotion. Musk, a special advisor to President Trump, wrote early Sunday in a post on his social platform X. Yes, and that's how you should run a company and the government, by posting on social media, because that's what employees really look for. Having to get up and look at social media to gauge how they're doing. Now, once upon a time, when I still worked for corporate America and worked for a company, a very large conglomerate, one thing that would piss me off is that we had a hotline during the wintertime, that's what most people call it, or inclement weather, to determine if it was safe, if we were going to be open at the main campus to come into work. Now, for those of us that were in the first cycle to get to work, we were coming from all over a particular tri-state area. Some people had an hour, hour and a half commute. Like, we needed somebody, Johnny on the spot, early in the morning. And I was one of the closer ones. And they would take it right up to the minute, where a lot of times we would be on the road. And this was the early days of cell phones. And this wasn't always a robocall out to you. We were conditioned to have to call in this line. And a lot of times people would be pulling up in the parking lot and they would finally say, oh, we're closed, the weather. That's how Elon Musk is trying to run the government. And don't say, well, Trump doesn't know what the fuck is going on. Elon Musk is going, this is a great idea. And Trump is like, yeah, daddy, it is. Trump is like, whatever you want. Whatever you need, my heart belongs to you. But yeah, this is how they're doing things. His post came in response to an earlier social media message in which he wrote, consistent with President @real Donald Trump's instructions, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got done last week. I have been saying this for quite a while, that we should not have politicians that do not understand the scope of their office and the interconnection between the branches and the agencies that make up all of government. That we have to stop this big government, little government. It's all government, because when they're saying, oh, I want big government or I want little government, they're talking about the federal government, forgetting that a decrease in one level of government is an increase or decrease on another level of government. So you're going to have big or little, whatever. But you're going through claiming fraud everywhere, and this is criminal, and that's criminal, and this is a waste of time, and this is a waste of this, and you're admitting, hey, sycophants, hey, fucking trolls, those of y'all that have spent almost 3 months of this bullshit trying to convince me that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. They're admitting that they don't know what they're doing. They're admitting they don't know what anybody's job description is. They're admitting that they're not even going to learn. They're admitting that Project 2025 was, like I said, a mandate, which is for the Heritage Foundation, a conglomerate of ideas based off of white supremacist talking points that they have no plan behind. They've done all this trimming of the fat and calling everything something bad to have to try to run after people and track them down to rehire them if they'll let them. Hope and pray, fingers crossed, that nobody decides to say, fuck the Espionage Act. I'm taking my talents to Moscow or Ukraine or Taiwan or North Korea or China or Japan or Iran or Iraq or Afghanistan, because y'all forget nobody fucking likes us. We are the Karen of this rotating rock. They don't know what they're doing. Stop trying to be the translator for bullshit. You know you fucked up. You know you're pissing the bed every night. because you know that there's no differentiating between red, clear, blue, conservative, liberal, independent, progressive, Democrat, libertarian, Tea Party, Temperance Party, Pink Party. Shit, there's still Federalists around here. You know they're fucking up. You know that they are splintering our security left and right. But instead of saying, okay, time for this shit to stop so we can be protected and the whole country doesn't end up being fucking homeless and we don't have the Great Depression 2.0, y'all are willing to let your ego in regards to backing dumb fucks get in the way. You are willing to, let's take strangers for you off the table. You are willing, just like in COVID, to let your family members, your friends, your children die, suffer, so you don't have to admit that you fucked up, so that you don't have to admit that your bigotry, all of your phobias, all of your racism reigned supreme because you thought, okay, it's okay for me to suffer as long as they suffer a little bit more. But you forgot you can't survive without the marginalized. This is why so many of y'all are begging and pleading for specifically Black women to step up and step into the in-between, to take the lead, because you thought you had the rest of us convinced in believing that without you, we wouldn't have civilization, we wouldn't be cultured, we would be living in the mud. You know that if that was the case, why are there other democracies? Why are there other cultured and cultivated civilizations? The truth is coming out in a way that nobody can deny it. We historians and we, the majestically melanated, knew this was going to happen. You can't survive without us. You didn't save anybody. You had to be saved. Only white people suffered dark ages. Let me run that back for y'all. Only white people suffered dark ages. Because why else would we continuously be forced to learn about such a disastrous moment in time? White people weren't trying to save souls when they kept kidnapping and decimating societies. White people needed to force people to keep them alive because they knew that they were not pleasant to be around and refused to ask for help. Just like now, you never paid attention to even learn how to have imposter syndrome. You refuse to pick up even the slightest bit of survival skills. And this is why you're pissed off. This is why you're calling for where's Kamala Harris. This is why you're trying to guilt trip us Black women into getting back into the fight. No, baby. You done told us over and over and over and over again that we are below being the underrungs of society. So guess what? That's where the fuck we gonna stay. You said that we were worthless and dilapidated and lazy when our labor was no longer forced and free. You wanted to appropriate and monetize everything about us. Maybe you should have appropriated some revolution. Maybe you should have appropriated some resistance. Maybe they sell that on Amazon. Maybe you can get that with a slice of pizza, a corn dog, and a soda from Costco at your next run. Maybe Sam's Club got a coupon for you. But why are you panicking and looking for us if y'all are the great saviors? If y'all are the great conquerors? Isn't that what y'all say? Y'all the conquerors. That's why you get to write history, because you're the victors. Well, if you got it so worked out and you are your ancestors, what the fuck do you need us for? Quickly. You got it so figured out that we're entering into month 3 of this presidency that's supposed to alleviate all of the fraud and corruption that Evidently, y'all was okay with the fraud and the corruption during his first term. Y'all was okay with the fraud and the corruption during Reagan's term. Y'all was okay with the fraud and corruption during Nixon's term. You was okay with the fraud and corruption during H.W. Bush's term. You was all right with the fraud and corruption during George W.'s term. But since y'all got it so well, and if it wasn't for y'all, we would be in huts in Africa, and we would be doing this and we would be doing that, and we wouldn't know what plumbing was, and we wouldn't know what any of this was. You got it. Why do you need us? Why do you need us? If you're the originators of civilized society, why do you need us? And before you tell us why you need us, please explain how you thought that you could convince us that the United States needed to be created so that we can have a civilized society, a democracy, when the United States is not the only civilized society, nor is it the most civilized society. It is not the only democracy, and it is not the greatest democracy. It is not the most equitable. It is not the most free. But since you placed yourself at, well, I'm sorry, your ancestors placed you atop of this mythical, magical racial hierarchy that you keep ensuring that you stay up upon, and you keep spackling the foundation of white supremacy every single day, and refusing to prune out the weeds that is racism from the garden of life, why do you keep calling upon the rest of us? Oh, I'm full of myself? By asking questions. So you don't know. You are hopeless and helpless, and you want to infantilize yourself and make yourself a victim as you victimize other people, and you keep putting yourself in fucked up situations that you don't know how to get out of. So me asking you a series of questions, Miss Dorothy Valentine, makes you think that I am full of myself because I have the wherewithal and the critical thinking skills to realize that you are full of shit and you descend from full of shit. Okay. Do you really think that you can intellectually tussle with one of the card-carrying proud members of the most educated demographic to date within these here United States? I don't think so. See, I don't say things just to hear myself speak. I say things that I am knowledgeable about. Okay. I'm so full of myself that you came to my live to boost it via comment. Do I make you horny, baby? You're not exactly my type. I'm not opposed to the ladies. I just like my ladies seasoned. If I were you, I wouldn't fuck with me too. Oh boy, you know what? The hills have eyes, but they don't have no brains. Coming, how ironic. Coming from the Hill, Republican files article of impeachment against judge who ordered agencies to restore scrubbed data. Y'all use impeachment all the wrong ways, all the fucking wrong ways. You sit there talking about, well, they're weaponizing against Trump. Nobody's weaponizing against Trump or any of you fucktwat Republicans. Y'all keep breaking the law, like willingly, but let's go. Representative Andy Ogles, Republican out of Tennessee, on Monday introduced an impeachment resolution against a federal judge who ordered federal health agencies to temporarily restore online data sets scrubbed as part of the Trump administration's crackdown on gender ideology. Gender has always been fluid, and I will not understand the willful ignorance and just the diminished brain capacity that people are imposing upon themselves, because y'all are the same people who were rocking out to very androgynous Annie Lennox and Grace Jones. Y'all the same people who had mega crushes on Prince. Y'all the same people that would cackle and know all of the catchphrases of Little Richard. Y'all the same people that let Rocket Man come on and you singing it full lung capacity. Y'all the same people who cried when Liberace died. Y'all the same people who put Gianni Versace on the map. Yep, George Washington. And here's the thing. All of these things that are now feminine, the fingernail polish, the wigs, the heels, were originally intended for men. Y'all do realize some of your founding fathers and your favorite politicians, especially on the Republican, the GOP side, y'all do realize that back in the day, until you were like between 7 to 10 years old, everybody wore the same clothes. The hand-me-downs had no gender. And this whole, well, pink is for girls, blue is for boys, coming from somebody who y'all know loves down some pink, okay? Loves down some pink. I'm older than that concept. That concept came around in the mid to late 1980s of the whole pink is for girls, blue is for boys. Yeah, because my baby blanket was red, pink, blue. Pink, blue, white, little purple, little black, because it was just a hodgepodge of colors. They didn't know if I was gonna be a boy or they didn't know what the hell I was gonna be. Okay, they knew I was gonna be feisty. That's all they knew. Okay, that's all they knew. Because the doctor really originally told my mama that's the boy, and she's like, I don't think that it is. Whew. I guess that's why I got big dick energy. I had a big umbilical cord that was placed a little funny. Also might be why I like a good choking, because it was wrapped around my neck too. Let me stop sharing so much, because we know it's starting somebody like to just pop out of nowhere, like he Kendrick Lamar, like mustard. But let's keep going with this. The article of impeachment says U.S. District Judge John Bates' conduct in the case was so utterly lacking in intellectual honesty and basic integrity that he is guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors. First of all, I've never liked the term high crimes and misdemeanors. Which one is it? But I digress. But they always accusing somebody of lacking intellectual honesty and basic integrity. The projection is stronger than a snow day in an elementary school in the 80s. If you know, you know. If you didn't get that, I can't help you. Earlier this month, Bates, first of all, I don't think you should fuck with anybody whose last name is Bates. I personally just feel like you shouldn't. Like, there's certain last names. I'm not saying that they're related. I'm not saying anything is based off of them. But I'm just saying it's better to be safe than sorry, okay? Don't fuck with nobody whose first name is any variation of Vaughn. If you know, you know. And don't fuck with nobody with certain last name, like Manson, Bates, Dharma. Bates agreed with a left-leaning physicians group that federal health agencies likely violated federal law when they took down various data to align with President Trump's executive order recognizing only two sexes. Well, there's a difference between sex and gender. They can recognize only two sexes, but they have to keep up the information regarding genders. And you cannot refuse to give the public information that is critical to the overall safety of the public. But this is still somebody who wants people to lie to cover up his fuck-ups when it came to COVID-19. And he knew the severity of it. He just didn't fucking care. It was truly a litmus test for loyalty for him. Like, he is willing to play with people's lives. And he showed just how sick Euro-Americans are that they were even willing to play with their own lives and the lives of their loved ones. Because there are several people who made good money on the internet with series showing COVID deniers and vaccine deniers ultimately dying, or their children dying, or their parents dying, or their siblings dying, or their best friends dying, or them having to close companies because all of their employees died. All to keep up a fucking lie. Couldn't be me. Could not the fuck be me. Absolutely not. But I got some beef with some deniers local to me because I lost two uncles because of people lying and denying. And I almost lost my dad because of people lying and denying and wanting to still be around folks thinking that shit is a joke. I have family members that I do not talk to anymore because they want to hop on the first thing smoking to go down to the cesspool, the petri dish that is fucking Florida, every chance that they could get, and kept ending up in the hospital. I was like, I can't believe you didn't come see me. Bitch, I was hoping you would die. Oh, did y'all think that I was going to be benevolent and say I prayed for him? No, I prayed. Not for what you think, though. Oh, I might tell you a joke. I might hire you kikiing, but I ain't going to lie to you. I could be nice. I could be kind. Class, what will I never be? Absolutely. Benevolent. Shit. Woohoo! I might be the king's kid, but I ain't the king, baby. I'm a princess for a reason. At no point in American history has the judiciary considered the surgical or chemical castration of healthy children to be a compelling or even legitimate health concern, and it shouldn't start now. We must protect our children from predators like Judge Bates, Ogles wrote on social platform X. Who's doing this? Okay, we can't even get sexual predator adults castrated most of the time. So who the fuck is castrating kids? And y'all making such a big deal about approximately 1% of the population, and you don't even realize how many members of the trans community you have been around your entire life. Because being a member of the trans community does not automatically mean that you are a mab or a fab. For those of y'all don't know, a man at birth, a female at birth, whatever. There are people who, because the gender is fluid, it's not a binary, they don't fit either. And your whole life, you have met people, you have worked with people, you have been friends with people, you are related to people who do not meet the social definition of what a woman is supposed to look like, what a man is supposed to look like, what a woman is supposed to sound like, what a man is supposed to sound like. A lot of people that you have praised and helped to have been members of the trans community. And you didn't know and you didn't care. This obsession about wanting to know what's underneath somebody's clothes is egregious, especially from those that simultaneously advocate for women's bodily autonomy and for the survivors of sexual abuse. Because you do realize the people who are obsessed with what's underneath somebody's clothes are the people who sit and fantasize and sexualize every part of a human body. And I don't care what gender you identify with, because we're not going to act like bitches ain't nasty too. And yes, I said bitches, because if your thoughts are about assaulting someone and forcing yourself on them, that's what the fuck you are. And bitch does not have a gender. It has a motive. It has a mindset. And if that offends you, you a bitch. I don't give a shit. What you gonna do? Be mad? Because you can't whip my ass. And don't say, well, you're vulnerable right now. Bitch, call me Indiana Jones. I'm not about to sit here and fight with you going back and forth. Okay? I will send you to your maker and your great grandma. Whether she be in the upper room or down south. I will make you the Swiss cheese for the provolone. You will be the Swiss cheese on that New Yorker club. Okay? Don't play with it. Now, Bates sits on Washington, D.C.'s federal trial court and was appointed to the bench by the younger former President Bush in 2001. Bates declined to comment through a court spokesperson. Isn't it amazing that they're having such a problem with long-standing former dynasty, highly respected families of the Republican Party? Remember, they said that it's the Democrats, it's the liberals that, but it's been Reagan appointed judges that have told them, that's not legal, that's not constitutional. Nixon appointed judges, that's not legal, that's not constitutional. Bush appointed, that's not legal, that's not constitutional. So when are y'all going to wake up and realize that the narrative that they're putting out is utter bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit. Or do you just like bullshit? Do you like flaming hot bullshit for lunch? Is that what you like? Is that tasty for you? Okay. Hot off the presses. Coming from CBS News. Judge orders Trump administration to pay bills to foreign aid contractors. But y'all believe that Trump is going to pay out these federal employees. Y'all believe that Trump is going to save you money. Y'all believe all this stuff. Now, I posted on TikTok today an opinion piece from Fox News. Keep in mind, Fox News Online and Fox News on TV are two different things. Fox News Online, those journalists take their job seriously. They have a lot of credibility. They do a lot of research. Fox Online, they are for the people that are dumb as fuck, because the people who watch Fox are not the people who read Fox. Those people don't even read fucking instructions, okay? They don't read ingredients on nothing anywhere, okay? You could put everything in a book and you could hide it from them, all right? A federal judge on Tuesday ordered the Trump administration to comply with a temporary order preventing it from pausing foreign assistance funding issued earlier this month, and gave the State Department until Wednesday night to pay all bills for work completed before February 13th. My character points. I work on them regularly. But yeah, see, if this ain't some colonizer bullshit, if this ain't gentrification 101, this is why the Republican Party, this is why the economy always tanks under the GOP, always, because they are the grand poobahs of, yeah, do the work. Can we negotiate like a different fee? No, bitch. And I had one, it was a duo clients that tried that, did all this work. They were like paying on invoices and then we severed ways. And I'm like, you got to clear it out. And they're like, well, what's a settlement amount? The amount you paid me. The amount you owe me. That's the settlement amount, because that's the work that I did. That's what I'm owed. And I already gave you a discount. Pay me what you owe me. And they kept trying to like make large payments like, oh, well, no, we chipped away at this. You still, no, pay every cent. They always want to negotiate some shit down. When they started saying things were corrupt, they didn't want to pay fines that they still had to pay before certain members of the administration got into office. And they don't want to pay moving forward. They really want to use the federal government as their own free henchmen because of mob movies that the dumb fucks at the top, Elania and Trumpetina, have watched. And what they don't know are the insides. Wasn't nobody fucking working for free in the mob either. I don't know what kind of square bees they thought was going on. U.S. District Judge Amir Ali granted a motion to enforce his temporary restraining order from February 13th. It required the State Department and the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, to restore foreign assistance funds for contracts and other awards while proceedings continue in a case brought by a group of businesses, nonprofits, and organizations that do foreign aid work. And that's the thing. People don't realize how interconnected things are. And the people that are like, oh, it's no big deal, we can clear out the federal government. Do you not realize that federal employees are also consumers? So if they don't have anything to put into the economy, y'all don't learn shit. You could lose your job. Also, if your job, your career field is interconnected with the federal government, which nowadays it's very hard to find something that isn't, your funding could make your job obsolete or no longer exist. See, a lot of y'all are pissy because people got into positions that you wanted. They got benefits packages that you want, but you could have if you stop voting against your best interest. And you decided not to work. You wanted to fuck off in school and then fuck off in life, thinking that somebody was just going to gift you greatness in life. Fuck out of here. And then some of y'all just bitter because you thought that you was just so cute, so sexy, that you was going to gluck 3,000 yourself into a cushy millionaire lifestyle. You got the same coochie as the next woman. You got the same PP as the next man. There's only so many moves that you can put somebody into. If they don't like you, they don't like you. If you're annoying, you annoying. And if you're too thirsty, you're one in a million. Some of y'all vote against and go against your own best interest and shoot yourself in the foot and live your entire life voting with jealous eyes and hearts because you refuse to do any work and you believe that certain things you're entitled to just because you exist. Yeah, everybody can't be Nancy Reagan. Everybody can't be Miss Pearl Nicholas. Can't do it, can't do it, can't do it. Not at all. It's like, Like, y'all really out here pissed off. That, but they shouldn't have this and they shouldn't have that. No, you should have it also. But you keep letting these representatives tell you that you shouldn't have it. And you keep perpetuating lies that you know are lies. You know the universal health care works because you're sitting there drooling at the mouth, wanting some of it. But you refuse to get yourself qualified enough for it or even vote so you can have it. Like, this is the dumbest shit ever. The dumbest shit ever. It's like somebody saying, hey, if you buy 2 gallons of paint, this house is yours. It is yours. You can have it. And instead of you going to go get the 2 gallons of paint, you got the money to go get the 2 gallons of paint. You can pick whatever color, you can pick whatever brand. You don't do it. You decide to go down to the gas station and get a can of gas, paint the walls with gas and set it on fire. And then bitch complained that now you got to do a little time because you arson and you ain't got no place to live. And then you spend the rest of your life pissed off that everybody else got a house and they ain't have to go to prison. And you now just, you got to sleep on the park bench. But whose fault was it? Like, you knew the program would work. You watched everybody else go get their cans of paint, paint the house, and get the house. You watched it. You decided, no, I ain't going to do that. Did you think that they was going to come back and be like, well, I'll give you 2 houses. I'll give you 3. I'll give you 4. No. And now you're like, nope. Nobody else. Come with me. No, we don't. We want to vote against that. We don't want nobody else to get. No, you don't need that house. That house it's gonna be mold and the paint. The paint don't really stick to the walls. And you convince everybody to just be on the park bench with you. And then all of you motherfuckers is pissed and still lying about the people in the house because you on the park bench. And you just keep pulling more and more people over to the park bench with you. Now you pissed because before you could lay down on the park bench, now you squeezed up. For what? For what? And defending people who don't want to pay bills. Because y'all do realize, because everybody that's like, well, United States first, America first, our citizens first. People that are citizens of the United States and even legal residents of the United States are not bound to the confines of these borders. And a lot of this aid go to our non-coastal lands like Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands. We also have embassies all over the world. We have ambassadors. We have military personnel that we have to ensure that they're safe. And it's a lot cheaper to help somebody with some research that also helps us stay alive and be healthy, or to feed somebody instead of pushing somebody so far to the edge where they're like, fuck it, I'm gonna risk it all. I'm gonna pirate every single one of your ships and I'm gonna take a couple of those pirate ships over to your soil and fuck you up and take your shit. Because war is far more expensive than y'all think. Y'all treat everything like a fucking Lifetime movie or fucking Marvel or DCU movie. Absolutely not. You make jokes about our education system in the United States, rightfully so. So where do you think the research is coming from? Where do you think our current innovation is coming from? Y'all bitch complain about how horrible cancer is, and we should be further along in cancer research, especially when it comes to childhood cancer. Y'all get pissy about diabetes. Once again, rightfully so. Where you think we getting this shit from? Because y'all don't want to pay teachers properly. You want to make fun of teachers, but tell me what you gonna get to in life without a fucking teacher, without a fucking educator. Like I thought. So where are we getting this stuff from? Because y'all hating on the COVID vaccine because you're like, it came about too quickly because you don't understand it. You refuse to learn how research works. Research is not an overnight process. And research is about the what ifs. Are we prepared if this happens? What if this happens? What if this mutates? What if this goes this? And that didn't even come from the United States. So our partnerships are important. Also, the United States has a long-standing habit of going to other people's houses and breaking shit. And if I came to your house and I broke your favorite vase, you gonna want me to replace that vase, right? And if I broke the vase and it has some good flowers in there, I'm gonna have to replace the vase and the flowers. Now, if I break it and scratch the floor, you're gonna want me to fix the scratch on the floor. If the water fucks up your carpet, I need to fix the carpet. See the trickle down effect? We go and break shit. Y'all letting Trump pump your head up on top of all of the propaganda that you have been force-fed since birth. We're not the world's purse. We owe everybody. We are essentially a teenager in regards to this rotating space rock, okay? We owe everybody. We are the little sibling that takes our little brother Israel. Hey, can I borrow $5 when I get my allowance? I give it back to you. Allowance day come. Hold on, wait a minute. I know I got $5 from all of y'all. But hey, give me $20. And when my birthday roll around, I'll split my birthday money with y'all. I mean, I was gonna give y'all my birthday money, but you know, the new Call of Duty came out, and I had to get that. So help me out with a little like we owe everybody. And then on top of that, we like to go on people's shit like we own it, like we pay bills over there. And the things that would have been profitable for us, we've had Republican presidents and Republican Congress people who have fucked that up. And while all of y'all are so focused on the fucking presidency, one, be worried about musky maneuvers, but two, the true power is in Congress. Like, I get for notoriety and historically it looks good and it sounds good to accomplish becoming POTUS. I get that, but you're essentially Ronald McDonald of the nation. Yes, there's more nuance and more context behind it, but we're going to simplify this and dumb this down as much as possible. You're a spokesperson. You're the great representative. We send you out to look pretty, go to the parties, and talk to the people while we do the work. Congress is the one. Y'all be getting pissy at the president. This is why we got dumb fucks like Trump and his sycophants and the Heritage Foundation and Muskie with all his maneuvering, thinking that they can just do and say whatever willy-nilly and people go for it and go with it. Now, what the hell? Litigation is always the downfall of white supremacists when people are not afraid to utilize it, because they're banking on, and by they I mean white supremacists, on you being ignorant to the judicial system or being afraid of the judicial system. But when properly used, just like during the time of chattel slavery, quite a few people use the court system. And I say this because, once again, hot off the wires, got another judge, this time from Politico. Judge blocks Trump's executive order suspending refugee admissions to the U.S. The Seattle-based judge's injunction blocks key components of one of Trump's day one executive orders. And also, I need you Trumplafucks to stop like getting so wet in your pants over Trump and his daily signing of executive orders. An executive order does not equate to codified into law. Just because you write it in an executive order does not mean it will stick, does not mean that it is lawful, does not mean that it is constitutional, does not mean that it cannot be overturned. It does not mean that even if it is constitutional and lawful, doesn't mean that another president can't come along and write an executive order to cancel it, because Trump has written executive orders to try to cancel out the executive orders of previous presidents. A federal judge on Tuesday blocked President Donald Trump's executive order implementing an indefinite pause on refugee admissions to the United States, saying the directive appeared to amount to a nullification of federal law, which it does. If you don't like the fact that people are coming here to seek certain things, then change your rules and regulations. You said in order for it to happen, they have to be here to apply. They can leave afterwards and then come back. And stop calling people illegal. They're undocumented. Because can you be illegal here? Yes. How does that happen? You were here. You got deported. You came back when you weren't supposed to. Being here and being undocumented, not illegal. You may be undocumented as far as having formal paperwork saying that you are a legal citizen, you're a legal resident, because you're in the process. This is not a quick overnight thing. And a lot of white folks are going to have to start being honest about their immigration journey and the journey of their spouses here soon, because they're going to learn that their bigotry has put them in the whirlpool too. Racism, hatred, bigotry, white supremacy, that causes everybody to be put in the same bucket with the same crabs. We're all trying to get out, and the crabs of racism keep pulling us back in. And the crabs don't realize that they're sitting at the bottom of the bucket. Let that sink in. Trump's order, which instructed the Department of Homeland Security to immediately stop processing refugee admissions, has crossed the line from permissible discretionary action to effective nullification of congressional will, said U.S. District Judge Jamal Whitehead, a Seattle-based appointee of former President Joe Biden. And here's the thing, you cannot say that people are doing things illegally, that people are forcing their way in, that people are criminals trying to hide when you're taking away the process that they're already involved in, where you're stopping them as they're going through the proper channels. That's like saying all women are just getting a driver's license to never drive or to just ram things into a building. They don't really want to drive anyway. So why are they signed up for driver's ed? They're not. They are. I saw the list. Go ahead and stop all the classes and stop testing all the women for driver's ed. Yep. See, they're not. They're not. They don't. That's what they're doing. They're telling you people are being nefarious while also in your face taking away every avenue. If I dig up the street that you live on, the street that you must walk down, the street that you must drive down, and you're stuck, you can't get out your driveway, you can't even walk down the street for public transportation, you can't call an Uber, a Lyft, a cab, nothing. And then I go, see, everybody on this block on Park Street, they just don't want to work. See, you never see them leave their house. They never want to work. Is that accurate? And I point this out because so many of y'all will hear this, whether it comes to immigration or anything else, and go, you're just making excuses. No, you're ignoring context and nuance, because it's all about context and nuance when the table that you flipped over on the rest of us gets flipped back over onto you, because it's coming. Hate thrives on hate. And racism, bigotry, all the phobias, that is driven by hate and the need to have superiority morally over someone else. They really don't care who it's geared towards. So once they eliminate all of us, or we move out of striking distance, who do you think is next? Also from Politico, State Department officials pushing to release more frozen Ukraine funds. The efforts highlight internal discord inside the Trump administration over how to treat Kiev. There's going to be more discord because there is not a united front. I told y'all before that people were using Trump as a puppet for their own needs. And people are like, no, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. See, before Trump picked career politicians within the GOP to navigate the White House, because he thought that they would be so loyal to the party, they'd be loyal to him because he knows they can't stand him. At this point, people realize that Trump is a wildfire. They know how to control him by making him believe that certain things are his idea, but they're all out for individual power grabs. This is why he really doesn't know what's going on, but he's not going to admit that he doesn't know what's going on. And this is not just he's not going to admit publicly. He's not going to admit at all. This is why ex-wife number 2 is chilling down in Mar-a-Lago playing first lady down in stinky ass Mar-a-Lago. And before you go, Tan, stop saying that it's stinky. That's what them people say, that it's stank down there, that it's funky. Okay? He's not going to admit that he doesn't know what's going on. He's not going to admit that he's not in control. Senior State Department officials are compiling a list of additional exemptions to the foreign aid freeze from Ukraine that could give the country access to some economic and security related assistance currently on hold. If enacted, the waivers would go beyond ones that the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has allowed worldwide for core life-saving assistance to fund programs such as demining and narcotics control, according to a State Department official, 2 other people familiar with the planning, and a document obtained by Politico. They are intentionally being illiterate to the writing on the wall when they're the ones doing the writing. When you question how we got to World War II, how we entered into the Korean War, how we entered into the Vietnam War, and the repercussions afterwards, this is how. Because there's so many people. What if this happens? What if it's happened? It's happened. You're gleefully, repetitively failing an open book test with notes. Yeah. Jesus Christ on a motorbike. Every time I think I'm gonna be able to wrap this up. Also, just a friendly neighborhood reminder: do not forget tonight, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, over on the Tube Review. Will be conversations with Taz tonight, and yes, we will have more of the news as it goes on. I have started to do the midday catch up because so much is happening, and I do have a couple of regular jobs that you know. But coming from the Independent, Hegseth says he fired the top military lawyers because they weren't well suited for the jobs. You mean they weren't white enough? They weren't corrupt enough? Or they wouldn't bend it like Beckham to Trump? Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, is he really a SecDef? He doesn't know how anything goes, like at all. Doesn't know the procedure for TJAGs, doesn't said Monday that he was replacing the top lawyers for the military services because he didn't think they were well suited to provide recommendations when lawful orders are given. They're legal scholars. They hold jurisdiction. You know what? Yes, let's take the advice of somebody who consistently gets pissy drunk, pisses on himself, passes out in bushes on buses, and regularly gets into fights with women at strip clubs and has to be removed by said women. Speaking at the start of a meeting with Saudi Arabia's defense minister, Hegseth refused to answer a question about why the Trump administration has selected a retired general to be the next Joint Chiefs chairman when he doesn't meet the legal qualifications for the job. Because he's white. They think that that's the only legal qualification you need to have. When they said that they were rolling back the hands of time to make America great again, they meant that to make it white male again. I mean, don't worry, white ladies. You'll be able to work bent over the desk. And no, I'm not being facetious. No, I'm not trying to be disgusting, but I need you to think about what they had you do. You would be the secretary, aka, and then you're not going to be an administrative assistant again. They don't give a fuck about your skill set. They give a fuck about your rack set and how short your skirt is, and if you're going to wear stockings instead of pantyhose so that they can have easy access. You're going to be gifted crotchless panties all over again at every holiday party. You will be sucking dick to be promoted to the CEO secretary. You'll never be the CEO again. You will be bent over Brenda. And they'll talk shit about you and disrespect you and still come all over your face. The calendar may say 2025, but they're going to take it back to 1925. Yay, you. And given that Trump is more than likely going to throw us into another war, yeah, arranged marriages, a lot of people disappearing for months. It's going to happen all over. Yeah, we're going to have another round of people being raised with their mamas and daddies, thinking that their mamas and daddies are their siblings. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a lot of behind the piggly wiggly fucking before people go off to war. Mm. President Donald Trump on Friday abruptly fired the chairman, Air Force General C.Q. Brown Jr., and Hegseth followed that by firing Navy Admiral Lisa Fanchetti, the chief of naval operations, and Air Force General James Slife, the vice chief of the Air Force. He also said he was requesting nominations for the jobs of Judge Advocate General, or JAG, for the Army, Navy, and Air Force. He did not identify the lawyers by name. The Navy JAG Vice Admiral Christopher French retired about 2 months ago, and there was already an ongoing effort to seek a replacement. The Army JAG Lieutenant General Joseph B. Berger III and Air Force JAG Lieutenant General Charles Plummer were fired. The removals, which came without any specified reasons in terms of their conduct, sent a new wave of apprehension through the Pentagon, and they added to the broader confusion over the changing parameters of Elon Musk's demand that federal employees provide recent job accomplishments by the end of Monday or risk being fired, even though government officials later said the edict is voluntary. But let's also not forget that before Elon Musk and his Doge got access to the Pentagon, Hegseth, the sector, was like, oh no, I'll handle it. I'm going to work with these people and cut down the budget. The girls are already fighting. They know Elon Musk is full of shit and they don't want Elon Musk there. They want to make their own cuts because their cuts are out of retribution. Their cuts are out of spite, especially Hegseth, who doesn't believe in war crimes, who doesn't believe in certain things. He wants people gone because he thinks he's Genghis Khan. But he has no leadership experience. From what I heard from Scuttlebutt, he couldn't even lead a woman to an orgasm. So I don't know. What? Okay, hold on. Coming from Politico, White House seizes control of press pool, will decide which outlets cover events with the president. The move reverses the long established precedent of journalists determining who participates in the press pool. Well, Ms. Lipfiller's at it again. The White House announced on Tuesday that the administration, not the independent groups of journalists, will determine which outlets have access to the president as part of a pool allowed into the Oval Office, aboard Air Force One, and into other meetings and events that cannot accommodate the full press corps. I guess so, since they've added extremely right-wing propagandist influencers from social media. Not people who cover the news, people who breaking news, every fucking thing isn't breaking news. And if you're 2 days late, it definitely isn't breaking news. The decision comes a day after the administration won a temporary ruling allowing it to bar the Associated Press from pooled events in retaliation for the Newswire's decision to resist President Donald Trump's demand that it rename the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. Outside of the District of Columbia, nobody has to acknowledge it, you dumb fuck twaddle. Like, please understand the scope of what you are permitted to do. You can rename your booty hole 1600 Trump Tandia Lane. Only people in the District of Columbia have to call it that. Just because you name it Darren don't mean it belongs to Darren. I am sick of it. Also, friendly reminder, for those that are not aware, link in my bio, there's a new Spotify podcast that is up. There's a new Black History lesson, the anti-racism journey, on both YouTube and on Substack. If you're not subscribed to Substack, what are you doing? Also, the Taz Book Club will be in full force tomorrow. Whether you join us on TikTok or on Zoom, 2 different books. No, you don't have to have the books. As always, I will have it, read it for you, and break it down for you as we go through it. And if you have not signed up for Saturday's history class, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for the world to change? Because it's not going to change until you edify yourself. Yeah. And do not forget, we're still taking donations in order to help tutor at least 50 more underserved, underprivileged youth. And if you cannot donate, please make sure you subscribe to YouTube channel and watch the videos over there. It does help more than you know. Or click the link in my bio and buy a bit of merch. Because if you don't, you're anti-Taz, and I don't fuck with you like that. No, I'm just playing. A little bit. But other than that, I will see you around these interwebs throughout the day, and I will catch you at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on YouTube for Conversations with Taz tonight. And boy, will we have even more to catch up with, because this is America. Yeah. So as always, each one teach one, each one reach one. Now go out. Get into some good trouble. As long as it doesn't require bail. Not in this economy. Bye, y'all.